You love your people. You care deeply about their well-being, their success, their challenges, and because of that, leadership is more than just a job. It is an emotional investment. But here's the hard part. How do we give our best at work without coming home drained, exhausted, and with nothing left for the people we love the most? If you've ever walked in the door after a long day and felt like you had absolutely nothing left in the tank, like your family is getting the worn out, distracted, or emotionally depleted version of you, you're not alone. Today we're talking about the cost and the reward of leading with heart, and more importantly, how to set boundaries and create rhythms that allow you to lead well without losing yourself in the process.
Welcome to the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast. Do you want better work-life balance? Do you get stuck in patterns of perfectionism and people-pleasing? Have you always been an overachiever but never really felt good enough, no matter how much outward success you achieve? Do you want more time for the things that matter most? Well, you are in the right place. Here on the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast, we focus on spirit-driven success and share the secrets to having better work-life balance as a busy woman in leadership. Here you will learn how to set boundaries like a boss, find peace of mind, and reclaim your time for the things that matter most. Hi, I'm Tanya, a wife, mom, leader, and certified Christian life coach. For most of my life, I tried to find worthiness through achievement. I spent decades people-pleasing and pouring myself into my work. I was looking for my value through the approval of others. This led me to feel burned out, empty, and exhausted. I had no time or energy for myself or my family. I realized that I was wasting time and energy looking for validation in all the wrong places. But my life changed when I finally surrendered and God showed me a different way. It is my mission to help you start living the abundant life God has for you. If you're ready to become fueled by grace and find freedom from people-pleasing, if you're ready to multiply your time and impact as a Christian woman in leadership, this podcast is for you. Roll up your sleeves, sister friends. It's time to get after it.
If you are listening to this, I already know something about you. You care deeply. You're not just showing up to check a box or collect a paycheck. You want to make a difference. You want to lead well. You want your leadership to matter. And that is a beautiful thing. When leaders invest emotionally, it creates trust, loyalty, and a healthy culture. It's what makes people feel seen, valued, and supported. And honestly, it's what separates great leaders from good ones. But here's where it gets tricky. Because that same emotional investment can also become a heavy burden. For a moment, I want you to think about your own leadership. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, replaying conversations in your head, wondering if you handled the situation the right way? Have you ever felt like you were carrying the weight of your team's struggles on your shoulders? Have you ever walked through the door at home only to realize you were still mentally stuck in work mode? Distracted, distant, unable to fully engage with the people who need you the most? My friend, I have been there. And I head that direction a lot. I get it. So let's talk about how we can lead well without burning out. Leadership is a privilege, but let's be honest, it can also be very exhausting. There is a cost to caring deeply. When we don't have boundaries, when we don't create space to emotionally reset, we end up exhausted, burned out, and feeling guilty because we're giving our best energy to work and our leftovers to our families. And that's not what God has called us to. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." But so often, instead of resting, we keep carrying. We convince ourselves that it's our job to fix, to rescue, and to make sure everyone is okay. And can I just lovingly remind us? You are responsible to your people, but you are not responsible for them. Let that sink in a minute. As leaders, we are called to support, to guide, and to encourage, but we are not called to carry burdens that aren't ours to bear. So what do? How do we lead well without taking it all home with us? Well, let's talk about some practical shifts that we can make. First, create an emotional off-ramp at the end of the day. One of the most powerful things I've learned is the importance of a transition ritual. Because here's what happens. When we walk out the door without processing the weight of our day, we end up bringing all of that emotional noise into our homes. So here's something simple you can do before you leave work. Take a few moments to mentally and spiritually offload your day. If you drive home, use that time to pray or to listen to worship music. If you work remotely, take a short walk outside before stepping into family mode. Before walking through the door, maybe sit in your car for 2 minutes. Do some deep breathing and ask the Lord, Lord, I surrender today into your hands. Help me release what I can't control and be fully present at home. Now this sounds a little bit silly and small, but this practice can be really transformative. Second, set digital boundaries so work actually stays at work. Let's be real, one of the hardest things about leadership today is that work follows us everywhere. It's in our inbox, it's in our messages. But here's the truth. When work is always accessible, we never fully shut it off. And that means we never fully rest. So, one simple practice is to set a boundary with your phone. If you're off work at 6 o'clock, put your phone on Do Not Disturb at 6:30. Leave your laptop in another room. Create a rule that after dinner work is done. No exceptions. Now, I know that there are some aspects of leadership sometimes that you can't completely silence or shut off work 100% after 6 p.m. Sometimes you're on call or you may need to take messages, but there are windows of time that you can silence your phone or put it in another room and take a break and walk away and not give it your attention. So even creating a window of do not disturb time for your family is reasonable and typically not going to be earth-shattering in the way in which things come in leadership. The world will keep spinning if you don't respond to that email at 9 p.m. or to every little message that isn't urgent. It can wait. Number 3 is to prioritize the habits that fill your cup. I know this is something we hear about all the time. You can't pour from an empty cup. But let's be real, most of us try to anyway. We tell ourselves, I'll rest when things slow down. But guess what? Things never slow down unless we intentionally create space for it. So I want to ask you, what actually fills your cup? Is it time in God's Word? Is it moving your body? Is it sitting outside in the quiet for just 5 or 10 minutes? Is it connecting with a good friend? Whatever it is, make it a priority, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. Because here's the truth. When you take care of yourself, you do lead better, period. Friend, I want to leave you with this encouragement today. You are called to lead, but you are not called to carry everything by yourself. If you've been feeling drained, exhausted, or like you're always on, I want you to know it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to step away. It's okay to rest. Because when you do, you'll be able to lead with more joy, not just responsibility. You'll be able to love your family with presence, not just proximity. And you'll have the energy and peace to step into your calling without losing yourself in the process. So this week I want to challenge you. What is one small habit you can start today to protect your emotional energy? I'd love to hear what resonates with you today, so send me a message or share this episode with a friend, someone who needs to hear it also. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm praying for you as you lead, and always I pray that the Lord fills you with gratitude, peace, and His amazing grace.
I pray this episode blessed you, spoke to you, or encouraged you in some way. If so, please share it with a friend and head on over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. That's the only way for me to know if you're enjoying the show. Nothing blesses me more than to hear from you. Also, come on over to our free Facebook community. This is a great place for us to support one another on our faith and leadership journeys. You can find the link to the group in the show notes or go to gracefilledleader.com/community. If you have questions or content ideas for the show, please send me a message on SpeakPipe or via email. Go to gracefilledleader.com/contact and leave a written or voice recorded message. I would love to know how I can best serve you on the podcast. Now to Him who can do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3, verse 20. Until next time, my friends, God bless.